We can go. Good afternoon, welcome to Parish Parish Council's PR&IT Committee. First on the agenda is apologies for absence and reasons given.
We have none.
I think we're full, aren't we? Yeah. And we've minutes from the previous meeting to resolve to agree the notes of the meeting of the 9th of December first. Yes?
Yeah, I propose, or second, or whatever.
And then the minutes from the 7th of January.
Yeah. Second.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. To receive any declaration. Oh yes, sorry.
Initial on that one.
No, I think the alcohol's stinging them on it. It's like a plane of chilies, isn't it? And then rubbing your eyes or going for a wee. Is there a doctor in the house?
Right, declarations of interest. To receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Localism Act 2011 and to consider any request for dispensations in respects of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests in the agenda items. No? Item 56, to receive an update on the photography competition for a whole beach calendar. Well, I think we've had 8 photos in so far. Regarding people sponsoring, as far as I know, we've not had any actual monies hit the bank account yet, have we?
No, I'm going to send out invoices.
Jan thinks she was going to send out invoices to the people that have said to us that they would.
I think that's...
If I could have a letter, a sponsorship letter to give to a business. I spoke to Michelle from Central, and she's very kindly said that she would sponsor one of them.
I think I got one in the car.
Yeah, I just need to drop a letter in.
Was she on the list already? 'Cause there's quite a few on the list.
No, she wasn't. She wasn't. I didn't know.
Okay.
She wasn't one of the ones I contacted. I have dropped some more letters off.
Should ask John at the garage. Not sure he donate.
Is that West End Garage?
Yeah, more, I don't know what it's called. Massey's
Okay.
garage.
Do you know him?
I do.
Okay, well we'll give you
Okay.
you can
Yeah.
That's called talking yourself into it.
That's what, yeah.
rather than a stranger walking.
I see bought the tractor
Okay.
and a few other bits and bobs since.
Yeah, that sounds sensible. So you'll send out a reminder.
I think that's
Yes.
what, I know that's what we were kind of,
Waiting for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any other comments on that at all?
I would think if we could send out a poster or something to the schools,
Yeah.
because I mean they've got all their art departments and everything. They do photography, so it'd be quite nice if they could get involved and see if they can enter. Might get a wide range. of
Good idea. Probably a good idea to republish it on Facebook every week as well.
Mm.
I've asked Jan to send it out to the press again because they didn't print it
No.
last time.
Mm.
You've done that, haven't
Done
you?
that, yeah.
You've done that. There was one thing on the poster that it doesn't say landscape.
Yeah,
So we've had some come in that are portrait.
but is that an issue, or can we work with it?
I think we can work
I
around.
think printers would be able to fiddle around.
Mhm.
Even if you just sort of like took a partial part of the picture to make it fit landscape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an issue.
Mhm, that's fine.
It's a high standard. They're very nice.
Yeah, some of them are nice.
Shall I drop them into the schools then as well?
I think that'd be really good.
Yeah.
And
Don't
should
mind.
we email the contact that we've got for the youth council?
Sam.
Yeah,
Some
Great.
because then, I mean, it
Great
could be that
idea.
youth council then distribute that within the school themselves? And
I think the other thing is that we also need to be quite aware that we have got different schools because we're a catchment area for grammar and high.
Yeah.
We have got people that live in this area that go to Spalding schools. So I think we just need to be quite conscious that
and do it for them.
we
as well.
don't eliminate them from the chance of taking part.
So both grammar schools.
You would have, you have both grammar schools. You've got the Glebe, and then you've also got the Peel, haven't you?
We
within
know
our-
the school secretaries, that's easy enough for them
Yeah.
to put it to the right department.
Yeah.
Jan?
Can you do that, please?
So you'll have to let me know which schools they are.
Spalding Grammar, Spalding High School.
Spalding Grammar and Spalding High.
Mhm.
I think Spalding Academy, I think, is a catchment of that area, and generically they go to the
Mainly,
closest.
So I think there are also some that from just near the Boston border that actually go to the Boston Grammar School as
Yeah.
well.
Mm.
Yeah, so
I know the coaches come over the bridge to Holwich St Mark's and Holwich St John's and probably
It's just for youngsters from Holwich.
Yeah. And then UAH and the Peel. Is it still called the Peel?
University Academy alongside.
There we go.
I mean, yeah, I'm still got George Farmer,
Yeah.
so I'm
Yeah.
not alive.
And are you also going to put that out to primaries?
I was just going to say, what about the primaries? Because you've got not only the children, the parents as well, that
Yeah.
we could catch.
most kids, all kids have got mobile phones with
Yeah.
cameras on, haven't they, these
Yeah,
days?
yeah.
Even
Wouldn't hurt, would it?
time is
So
All the better.
primary schools, you've got the Holwich Bank Primary School.
If you just sent it to this one, it,
They will do it
yeah,
because
they'll
they're
do it,
linked,
won't
aren't they?
they?
So Holwich Primary School and Williams Duplin.
Holwich Primary Academy, isn't it? We didn't think you'd got enough to do, John.
any other comments on that, or should we move on?
No, move on.
Okay. To receive an update on reducing councillor numbers.
So this was mine from last year, really, when it's been going on for nearly a year now. The process to reduce councillor numbers is not an easy process. We can't just write to SHDC and say we want to get rid of 4 councillors or whatever, because it has to go through a process, and each process has a minimum period of 2 months. And then before it goes to the next process, where it might have 3 months. Jan and I sat down and worked it out the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to reduce the council by 2, which I think is a good number, we're looking at 12 months before we get an answer from SHDCs whether we can do it or not.
And we can't actually enact it until the
Until we've got
2023
approval from them.
elections.
I was just going to say, we've got the elections in 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we started now, you'd get it done before the
It would be
elections.
done for the elections, yeah. So
So it would work, because
Yeah.
then it would kind of tie in quite nicely.
How many
Yeah.
spaces have we got at the moment anyway?
7.
So we'd be looking for 5 then, wouldn't we?
Yeah, 5 more
Yeah.
councillors.
5 more councillors.
Just
It's
reduce
still
it
a
by
decent
2.
But hopefully if we get out to the villages more, which we're hoping to do, we
Yeah,
should
yeah.
be able to pull.
The only
Hopefully.
thing that I considered when Jan sort of read out the process is, one thing we have discussed outside of committee meetings before is the possibility of changing to a town council rather than a parish council.
And
And
you're going to have to explain the difference.
it's literally exactly the same in the way we run.
But Steve will get to wear his chain.
Well, you can have a chain for parish as well, so it really doesn't matter. Technically, the chairman's called the mayor, but most town councils just say mayor/chairman, so it really doesn't matter. It's more the fact, I suppose, especially when Jan's doing the training courses and things, you get loads of parish councils, and the level that they are compared to our kind of size and complexity is vastly different. And if you look at most other places, like Mablethorpe's got a town council, they're much more comparable to our size and our kind of complexity. So it's whether, that would mean, we sort of, I suppose it's easy for the public to then understand what we do and kind of their perception of us, I suppose, more than anything.
Is there any financial cost or financial gain?
Well, I didn't know whether, all I was thinking was, if it's by the sounds of it, it seems like it could be a similar process to doing the councillor numbers. And the way they said about it is we just put in a request of some sort, so we put together a request. If we could put the both requests in at the same time and then get it all done at the same time, that it might be then worth
That's
doing.
a business case, won't it?
So is the setup the same sort of thing? Is it committees and...
Exactly the same. It wouldn't change the way we run at all. It would just be the name, and then I suppose what comes with that in the way the public, other authorities, etc. perceive us. We would basically, I suppose the name of town council represents better how we are run now and our complexity and our size than a parish council does.
Parish to me says sort of village
Yeah.
to a certain extent.
So would that still...
We've got 3 outlying wards. Villages.
That's my concern. So would the villages be part of the town council, or would they then separate off and be?
No, I mean, we wouldn't change our boundaries at all. So you could have the problem that obviously you still want to make sure the villagers feel part of that.
I just think, you know, if you're thinking town, town suggests
The high street.
the town.
Yeah.
You know, and I just think that you know, if there's no gain other than it's just a change, we're just seeing, if you like, that we're more complex than a smaller parish. There's no real difference between a smaller parish and a big parish. We've just got more complexity, I get that. But again, we're a parish, we're not a town. So I don't know. I just think you could disenfranchise quite a few people by that sort of assumption.
I would be concerned about our outlying villages, that they would not feel part of.
I understand what you're saying.
Because the word, like Mark says, the word town does instantly, you think.
Yeah.
Well, most of the work goes on in the town. I mean, I don't know what the outlying wards.
But that's what we're trying really hard to change.
Yeah.
Yes, we
I
are.
mean, most town councils that are town councils they're a parish. It is just the name, but yeah, it's just something we have thought about in the past. And if we've got a process, and it's pretty much the same process, it's whether you'd want to go down at the same time. Do you want to change the numbers as well? You've got options.
Do we make a decision about the naming now?
No, we take that to council, full council, don't we?
Full council.
It's just to receive an update, so
Yeah.
it's an option. I mean, the first thing to do would be, is it the same process anyway? Because if it's a different process, then
I think
I don't really see the point.
one key thing about reducing the council numbers, and I get that, I do get that, because we've got 7 vacancies, we can't fill them. But the bigger question surely is, why can't we fill them? In the grand scheme of things, it's how can we sell what this job is and get people on board to want to make a big influence to the parish as a whole.
I agree with what you're saying, but I think until we can push ourselves out into the whole area and they change their concept of what they believe we're doing, because at the moment there's too many people still anti-whole beach parish council, aren't there? Until we can get a bit more of a favourable responses from people, we can't really force people to join.
Quite a big effort, aren't we, to push out?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think part and parcel to that is to ensuring that those better relationships are there with district, with county, with press, with, you know, so that we're literally pushing whole parish council is a real positive thing. You know, and I think until that side improves, I don't think you will improve.
I think you're probably looking at least a year away until the next elections before.
I think you really got to be pushing it right up into the elections, because it would be lovely to actually have some elections because we've got enough members.
Can I just ask, probably not relevant, but next year's elections, do we have to pay for that?
If we have an election, we do
Yeah,
pay.
so if we have more than the current number of
if you have more than the current,
then we would have to go for an election.
yeah, and then we have to pay for it.
Right.
What normally happens is we don't have enough people to fill the seats, so we don't actually end up having an election.
Okay. Because it
Which
also
means we save money, but then
advertising, because if people want the elections, which is what people are saying, isn't it? That's
what people want, but that means you have to stand.
Yeah, they have to stand and...
Well, that's the only way you're going to make any changes.
And the thing is, you can
That's always
easily
the
get an
problem,
election
though, isn't it?
for,
You have people making negative comments, and then when it comes to the crunch,
yeah.
It's getting them
They're
to
not
start.
But that's the
doing
reason I
work.
joined, because I set up a group called Old Beach Parish Council Moans and Groans
yes.
to people.
I mean,
The
what
only
you
way it was
have
going to
to
change was by getting on it and doing
think
something.
about if you're reducing numbers, it's what ward will you reduce it from? Because like if you wanted an election, it's quite easy to get an election from the rest of them because you've got one seat on Drove, one seat on St John's, 4 on Herne.
Why so many on?
I don't know, I think that was increased by 1 at the last election.
1 on Drove, 1 on St John's.
Yeah, 4 on there.
4 on Herne, and the rest on
Town.
town, so 12. So obviously you need to have at least 12 people standing for the town ward to get an election, which is the majority of your council.
But it's things like that as well, where you align in the seats where, I know we've got a couple of councillors that are outplaced from the seat that they're currently in and would be much better aligned to a different seat.
Yeah.
So it's at that election stage that
We
can
can do the
potentially be,
Yeah.
be,
Yes,
be
I'm sure
reduced.
Peter would go, obviously go for Drove, wouldn't
Yeah.
he? And I would go for St John's.
Yeah.
And I'd go for town,
Yes.
because at the moment I'm Herne, aren't
Yeah, and at the moment I'm St John's, so we can
Yes.
swap.
I?
And
So-
Peter's heard as well.
Whereas at the minute, it makes no sense stepping down to
No.
then get re-co-opted
Yeah.
into a different ward. There's no point.
No.
There's 2 other things though, relating to elections. We've currently got whatever number of councillors we've got. We've got one new councillor who started 2 months ago, who at the moment hasn't put himself forward for any committees, which is a bit worrying. We've also got another councillor who doesn't want to attend any of our meetings or be involved with us anymore, but we can't remove them.
Yeah.
Until, is it 6 months?
6 months.
6 months without
Yeah.
apologies, so if you keep giving
Apologies for-
Or she hasn't.
She has to, for some.
Yeah.
For some.
She has to sign.
Has she?
It's
But she's only got to do every other month,
Yeah,
hasn't
she
she?
has.
got to be
Yeah.
6
6
months
clear,
Yeah.
isn't it?
But in my thinking, we've got 2 councillors
Full
that are
council or does
doing
it-
a great deal at the moment.
She could just turn
I
up for
think-
one.
One
Every-
or
every 6
apologies
months.
for a few.
I think one of the key things as well is to put it across that, like when I was co-opted on, it was if you want to join committees, that's fine. If you don't, you don't have
Yeah.
to. But I just think, again, it's when you think of the workload that's involved, especially in some of the committees, it shouldn't be an expectation that you're on a committee, but it should be that you want to get involved to impact a committee
Yeah.
that's going to make a change.
But you're not going to make any changes if you're not on a committee, are you?
I mean, maybe that's something that we sort of
You have no
requested
voting
in the
powers, do you?
application process, that, you know, what committees
Ask
are you actually
what they're
interested in
interested
joining?
Yeah.
To know that they are actually interested in being part of one of them, because if you're not interested in any of them, then there's not much point you being on the council.
We can't achieve anything, can you?
I'm more or less on all of them now, apart from the only one I'm not is open spaces.
Yeah.
Will there
And
be
even then I'm doing bits.
Will there be something on the agenda for full council for vacancies for committees? Is there?
We normally put it on each
Got
committee.
interested parties.
apart
In
from two.
relation to committees, is there any committees that are not full currently?
I don't think
I
Um,
think
HR
finance,
Yes, I
finance
think-
is full.
Yeah.
But,
HR could do with
We
an
need
extra
one.
person,
yeah,
especially so we're odd as well, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
This is obviously full.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then we ask for
Spaces,
yours.
I think.
I don't know. I don't know what the numbers are for
Obviously
each.
events, because that's now got 4, hasn't it?
Events is doing all right now. Well, we've got
Open spaces.
5 actually, so we're doing all right.
Who's on?
Open spaces.
Open spaces got 4.
That's a
There's
bit.
one vacancy on open
HR's got
spaces.
4.
One on
Planning
HR.
has 1, 2, 3, 4.
We generally,
5.
I think, did we say 5 for each committee when we set them up originally? Yeah. So
I
that's
think
it.
the thing is, things like the events, actually we need more than on the smaller HR, because on events, when you are planning events, there's quite a lot of work goes into it. You know, I know one of the smaller committees at the moment has got an awful lot of work on, but that isn't like that all the time.
No.
I think it's key that you have the ability to have the chair being, if you like, the deciding vote
Mhm.
for being, if you have a 2-2 split and the chair is the fifth person,
Yeah.
as opposed to having a four
Yeah, so like
split,
with
and you've got
here,
2-2,
yeah.
and
It's, yeah.
you know, it makes it easier if you make sense.
Absolutely.
So,
I mean, then people can do what I'm doing. I haven't said I will go on to events or onto open spaces, but
You can
I have also said that any little thing,
Mhm.
and I'm there to help. So.
the only drawback with that from a committee perspective, and I don't know whether there's something that potentially could be looked at, is if you're not on the committee but you go in and out as you see fit, then that you don't carry a voting chair.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
in that sense, it's like if you're in for 2 meetings, then if you're in there for that meeting, does that not then carry the voting share? Because obviously, if you're not full time on it, you don't get
Yeah.
a vote. So it's
I
like
see what you mean, yeah.
It's difficult because if you like events and stuff, you're going to have busy periods and non-busy periods. I suppose you don't necessarily need them to be able to vote because it should be pretty straightforward in voting things through. It's more the fact you just need people to help out, organising and doing things. And like with open spaces, you might need occasionally people just
so
help out.
in that sense, is it better from that perspective to have people on the events committee and then have them put in their apologies and not turn up to the committee meeting but still have that voting right when they get there? Is that a better option? I don't know.
I think it's something to...
It's something that
Yeah.
we need to be thinking around, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, to be
Definitely.
honest, we're managing to organise events with 5. I think as soon as you go any more than 5, because yes, they can send their apologies, but if they didn't and everybody turned up, any more than 5 is a bit difficult for a committee, to be honest. I think you could speak as a member of the public in the committee meeting and give your opinion, and I don't think any of our committees are really going to ignore you that much that they just completely vote against you, to be honest.
No.
So I think we can make it work.
Yeah.
And if they can then, especially like on the day, we need people helping out and things like that. Doesn't mean they need to be part of the committee. And you don't want to overstretch too many people with all the meetings they have to attend.
Well, regarding the vacancies, we'll see what happens at full council. Maybe
Yeah, I do think it needs bringing up at full
one
council
of
to
our
sort of...
members might
Did,
volunteer.
I'm remembering correctly that there's calculating how many councillors you should have per electorate.
Yeah, and it works out we should have 16.
We've got 18, haven't we?
But then the town's growing.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's
So it's,
before...
yeah, but that gives you a bit of an indication.
Yeah, I mean, it's all right saying we should have 16, but we can't get 13 of us, can we? Let alone 16, so...
Mm.
It's a toughie.
Okay, let's move on to item 58, which is to receive an update on the youth council meeting, Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
And I met Sam
Great.
Sam Braper.
Graper.
Yeah, I think it's a very successful meeting, to be honest. They have only just set up their youth council because they've kind of rejigged how they're doing it. So they've got 4 youth councils.
4.
Yeah, 4 school councils for the different year groups because they have staggered lunch times. And it's just anybody who wants to join can join, which is quite nice rather than being elected from your form group. They've split off into various working groups, which also works quite well with how we work. There was one which is environment and well-being, which ties in quite nicely with our open spaces. There was one, what's the
I
other
remember
one?
the first one was well-being,
Yeah.
and there was environment, because
Yeah.
they've now set up a gardening club, haven't
Mhm.
they? The other 2 I can't actually
I can't remember.
remember at this point.
Yeah, but they've got committees and things like that. They are quite interested in getting involved with the Jubilee Garden, I think. We were sort of discussing what projects we've got going on and what they could get involved with, but I do think the next steps really be they want some people to come in and talk with them. I think we need to do a good variety of people, not just like 1 or 2, because it's more meeting us and getting to know who we are, and bits and pieces, and a bit about how council runs, etc. And I think generally they're in quite early days. They would love to get involved where they can. And I think we could really utilise, especially the different projects they've got going on. The Environment and Wellbeing working group is looking at creating a garden in the school. and then researching stuff to do with wellbeing, planting, etc., which could be quite nice to tie in with our Jubilee Garden. And then they did think a good idea would be if we could do a bit of an open day type thing and then come here as well to get to know how we run and anybody who's interested. So
Yeah, we did suggest that rather than coming to full council, come to some of the committees, a couple of them, just to sit in to see how.
and then we could just have a
how
chat
it runs.
and about what we do.
She did say there were quite a few of the school kids that were
Mm.
quite up on politics.
Yeah. So.
So the next plan would be to actually arrange a time to go and some of us to go in, presumably during the day.
Yeah, they have half an hour school council meetings, so it's a bit of a short time period. Sam did say that they've also got extracurricular activities days that they do, which whether they could incorporate a few things into that as well to give us a bit longer time. But yeah, we'd arrange a date and get a few of us to go in there and have a chat with them.
Who would be interested of those that don't work? You'd be interested?
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would.
I would happily
would.
go.
I'm sure your mum would as well.
Makes it quite hard on us, but if it's a day that we can,
Well, if we did it on a Thursday,
Yeah.
for instance.
I think they said the school council meets on a Friday,
that's also, I can usually go
Yeah.
on a Friday.
so it'll be a Friday lunchtime-ish.
More the merrier, I think.
And then she did say about with the younger ones, it'll be easier to probably pull them out of lessons and things if needed, to give a bit of extra time. So we can liaise and arrange a time.
It would be nice to have them come and join in,
Yes.
And have- even if it's just two that decide that they're going to be the two that represent the school.
Yeah.
We have got one student coming for work experience, I believe.
Yeah, another student's coming this year.
When is that due?
Mhm.
Did the last student that come actually sit in on any committee meetings?
I don't think we had any that week, did we?
No, they didn't, but Stephen and Sophie had a meeting and explained and
Talked
sort
through
of
bits
went
and
through
pieces, yeah.
things every day and what we do and
Would be good though if we could arrange the week that we've got them in.
I'm sure we can book a committee meeting that
There's
week.
one or two. Like I say,
it's the
it's-
timings, you'd have to do them during the day because of having them stay late.
Yeah, but I think most parents would be amenable to, as long as they get signed letter.
Mhm.
Right, good. Item 59, to receive an update on councillors' bios. Well, we've had everybody's in, bar 3, and I have reminded them twice now. You've put some together, I think.
I
haven't
put
you?
some on the
think that's all.
website that I could access via my emails. I think I just need the rest of them sending through.
Oh, okay.
Because I can't actually find my one, to be honest.
I haven't seen yours.
Have you not? I'm sure I typed an email over Christmas to you, but I can't find it. So if
I
not,
did
I'll
have a look
retype it.
back through. I saw Rick's, I saw
Yeah.
Sam's, I saw Peter Sparks. Rachel hasn't,
Mhm.
Tim hasn't, and Evelyn, who I've reminded more than once,
Mhm.
hasn't either. So whether we just go ahead with the ones that we've got.
I think we can put the rest of them on the website and get them.
Do we
all
have
sorted.
photographs for the 3 people?
We don't have photographs for Evelyn. We don't
Tim.
have one for Tim.
We would have one for Rachel.
Yeah, we've got one for Rachel. I haven't got one for Peter Sparks either, to be honest.
Okay, can we arrange that maybe at the next,
We can do that at the next full council
at the
meeting.
next full council
And
meeting?
get them done. Oh. I could do the others.
Okay, so moving on to item 60, to resolve to agree the name of the meetings with the public and the venue of the next meeting and date, and an update of the last meeting. I think you 2 were there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 of us were there.
Yeah.
And we had one visitor,
Somebody that you knew or didn't?
Sophie knew him, Paul Forster,
Previous councillor.
previous councillor,
okay.
who's independent councillor for South Holland, isn't he?
He's
runs as independent.
yeah, he's not actually a
not a
councillor,
councillor.
but
Is he
he's-
not? Oh, I thought he was.
No, but he's part of their group.
Yeah. So that was the only person that turned up.
What became of that? Was it?
He was interested in what we were doing. He liked the idea of the Jubilee Garden and
Yeah.
like
And he's
the
been
other-
very positive on Facebook
Yes.
recently as well.
They're not interested in joining.
He's been on
He's
the
been on
council
Parish
before,
Council
so
before,
he's
okay.
kind of done his bit.
He liked the idea of us getting out and about and meeting people,
Mhm.
and he said if we wanted to go onto the Thursday market, then nobody can stop us if that's what we want to do, basically.
Mhm.
And he would support us in that.
I think we need to target the people out where they are.
Yeah.
I think there's areas we could go that doesn't involve us going to the Thursday market.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
So I think Tesco's an ideal one we can
Yeah.
approach.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
always happy to sort of like,
Mhm.
engage with us. I think Market Hill, so the people
Yeah.
are in the town during
Yeah.
Saturday. So instead of them having to come to us,
We're there already for them.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
going
there.
round and trying to be proactive in that sense. And
Yeah.
I think exactly the same in the towns, in the
That's,
villages.
I'm very keen to get into the villages. I'm very, very keen to get out so that
When you put the poster up in Tesco, who
Yeah.
did you approach?
I think it was Debbie. I think her name was
David's retiring.
Yeah.
Really?
I overheard him at the till the other
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
He's
okay.
retiring in March, next
Oh,
month.
wow.
Oh.
That's a shame.
I think her name was Debbie. She's the lady that's in charge of obviously customer services and the whole of that end.
What's his
So
name?
I think it's Debbie, but don't quote me on it. But,
I mean, I think we've got a venue in St Mark's, haven't we?
Mhm.
And I've desperately been trying to find the guy that's the chairman of the parish hall in Holbeach St John's, but I haven't managed yet.
yeah, that's.
That's Robert Frost. He doesn't answer his phone at home. I've tried.
the village hall, you mean?
Yes, the village hall.
I've got a different contact number which I can pass on to you. Obviously from the
540350 was the one I've been
no, a
trying.
different one.
Have you?
Yeah. So if you want to have a try the top one,
They don't have a website.
but that's I took that off the notice board, so it might be somebody else you can contact.
Because according to my neighbour who knows everybody in the village, she said he's still the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll have another word with her. But his business is on the airfield as well, and
Yeah.
he's not there either. So there's
So-
not really anywhere in the Drove, I don't think, that we could. The only place would be the. Well, Peter and I were there at the weekend having a bit of a look around, and there's a Methodist chapel,
Yeah.
which I'm not sure whether they would go along with that, and there's
The only other place-
Polycarp's Church, which is just in our boundaries.
The only other place that was there, which was the pub down there, which is now Giggles.
Yes.
And again, if
yeah.
if people are putting their children in there, maybe it's a captive audience of the
That's
Drove.
a good idea.
That's
So
a good idea.
It might be
Yeah.
worth, they run until 6 o'clock at night, so I don't know whether it's worth doing something between that last hour and pick-up time, I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But again, it's just putting our faces down there, so.
I like that idea.
Mhm.
That's your one for this week, Mark.
So
Don't waste that back.
can we fix a date for and where for the next?
Well, you said you've got somewhere in St Mark's, definitely,
There
yeah?
is the village hall in St Mark's.
Yeah, they've divided the hall up, so it's half gym and half hall.
Do we know how much that would cost?
It's for an evening meeting,
Yeah.
it would be £20.
That weekend? Or do we want to do it during the week?
Well, could we, so if it's there, you've got the end of shift, 6
Mhm.
o'clock, because they work 6 till 6 and 6 till 6, don't they? So could we do sort of at 6 o'clock?
Yeah,
6
half an
type
hour.
thing. I mean, we don't need long,
When do you see? What about doing
6 till 7.
5:30 to 6:30? Because then you've got the people that are going up to shift and people coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, we need a poster down there, and we need to advertise the
I
fact.
mean, if we could come up with some dates and where you're going to be going, then you can say it for council and allocate people the times. So then we've got everybody and we've got a wide variety of people doing it. That'll probably be.
There's nothing stopping us going to the Market Hill every week if we wanted to,
Yeah.
weather depending, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you're likely to get the majority of people obviously in the town, but you want to then have some scheduled dates that you go
Oh
out
yeah, no, definitely.
and do a mixture.
And is there anywhere at Herne?
I don't know her.
I don't know, I don't know her either.
Jane, Rachel seems to be...
We can ask her.
I mean, the only place I could think that's down at primarily is obviously the Rose and Crown,
Yeah.
which is maybe a
Is that still?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Strength to strength.
Yeah, so I don't know whether it's worth, again, sort of like basing there and just, as you know,
Well, the owners are very proactive on Facebook, aren't they?
Absolutely.
So I think they'd be good people to
Yeah.
contact.
yeah, so again, it just puts us out into that location.
Yeah.
The deputy clerk has there is a village hall at Herne.
Sorry.
There is a village hall at Herne.
Is there? I think you'll get more people in the pub, to be honest. Let's face it.
Holbridge Home
St
Village
John's Village Hall, St John's Church. The church isn't suitable.
No.
St Mark's, St Matthew's Church would be too small. And then there's the tea room in the High Street and the Rose and Crown. But I don't know if anything's been, doesn't appear that anything's...
I think your Rose and Crown for Herne Way would probably be your best. Because I think
I do.
we can approach the owners and hopefully they will accommodate.
Yeah.
But it might bring in a bit of extra cost for them as well, mightn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if we could do one Herne and then if we could do one down St John's
So we've got St
driveway.
Mark's is an easy one.
Yeah,
The Herne, if we get hold of them and do it, I think that would be a reasonably easy one, wouldn't it?
yeah.
And you said Giggles.
Giggles, yeah, again, I've got contact numbers so I can
Yeah.
pass over for that.
So that means we're going the opposite direction. So that's fine.
Yeah, so that's getting us.
Yeah, and then we know we could just do Market Hill. I think if we could do Tesco one
Holbridge
day,
Giggles.
that would be very good.
Yeah, I think Tesco's
So if we
would
could
be
talk to
very good one.
Tesco about doing that. So if we can sort of get dates and times roughly done between now and full council,
Mhm.
and then have some proposals to say, when are people available, put your name down for a date,
Now.
and then we can tackle them.
And I think I've asked this before, have we got high vises with Holbridge Parish Council?
Yes.
Fantastic.
And that's the odds.
Yes.
Have we done them yet?
I've got all of the stuff on, I just need to put the photographs up.
Okay.
So if I can get a few extra photographs at full council, then I can finish them.
Because again, I think if we, and we can then put ourselves over as the official body of Holbridge Parish
Yeah.
Council
Yeah.
and build that positive
Yeah.
momentum.
And it's what do you want to call it? Because at the moment we call it the chat with the council thingy.
Yeah, I
Can
mean,
you do agree where we?
is it,
So we need to kind of, I know it sounds awful, but we do need to standardise what.
I don't like the name
Meet council.
surgery, to be honest.
Meet the
I don't
council.
like surgery because it.
No, it sounds a bit clinical, doesn't it?
Meet
Yeah.
the councillor though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holbridge PC Open Day.
Mm-hmm.
HPC Forum,
Ooh.
Forum actually is a good word, isn't it?
Parish Council Forum.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that gives it. That was easy, wasn't it? That was easy. I thought it was going to be. HPC forum.
Yeah, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a proposal, second proposal.
Oh, yes, we.
Yes, agreed. So we need to get some venues and dates sorted before full council,
Mm-hmm.
which is when?
2 weeks.
Oh yeah, that's
Good excuse.
And then hopefully on the back of full council, if we put them dates out there, then hopefully Victoria can
We can do
Yeah.
it, yeah.
run those dates. And that's
So I
fine
need
as
to
well.
put that in my report when we've decided, or not.
Some the bit.
You can sort of do a bit a bit in the report. We will just have to, if we've got some dates sorted, then we can tell the press on the night.
Yeah, contact the venues as well.
Yeah.
Anybody know the Rose and Crown people?
No, because they're quite near, aren't they?
I'm sure I've seen, I don't know whether it's the owners on Facebook, but people advertise it on Facebook, so I can do a bit of digging.
I do know somebody that, yeah,
I know
I
several
can talk
people
to
that go down there regularly
Yes, I do.
on Facebook.
You know,
We'll
there's
see if we can
applicants
get any
for-
further with this.
No,
Absolutely
just-
nothing. No, I just,
Okay.
I went round to see if I can find different notice boards and that in relation to the parish. And sort of down the road, there wasn't
There's
anything.
nothing.
So,
Was it-
but I did see, I was looking for locations because I know we spoke about doing the full council meetings out in parishes as
Yeah.
well to try and pull them in. But yeah.
Peter and I went again at the weekend to see the owners of the village stores and filling station.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they weren't there, but we're meeting with her at 5 o'clock tomorrow
Oh,
to
lovely.
ask if we can put if we've got money to put a notice board.
So we've got a free notice board coming up, haven't we?
Because there is nothing. There's a little notice board outside St Polycarp's Church which has fallen to bits.
Yeah,
There's
but if
no
we
glass
can-
in it.
Yeah.
If we can get a
There's
quote
nothing on the
to
Methodist chapel,
SHDC,
Can't
then-
have one up.
but there is a
Sure
a
it's
space on the wall at the front of the stores.
Yeah.
And she sounds quite a nice lady, so I don't think it'd be a problem.
Would be, so. I don't think budget needs to come into it, we just need to do it, don't we,
Yeah.
to be honest.
And I think that, as we said previously, with the defibrillator down there, I know they earmarked, I think, for Methodist Chapel.
Well, we had a look at that as well, and that really is not a good location.
But if you think where the stores are, right in the corner there, the location, people are dropping in there for fuel, maybe that's a better
And it's
location.
well lit, there's no
Yeah.
lighting outside.
I mean, in
the
terms
Methodist
of the
chapel.
defib, could we contact the councillors who were in support of it and just say, we've gone down there and have a look at the location, we think this would be more suitable, would you still support that?
Yeah, because
Just to make sure.
it's got to be in a place as well that,
We'll ask her about
No,
that again
yeah.
tomorrow as well, to see if she would be
Yeah.
willing. But obviously it needs an electricity supply.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've spoken to the owners, then you
Yeah.
can kind of do that in the little emails.
I mean, the footfall for that little shop is quite good. Item 61, to receive an update on press releases. The Village Voice which went out today, has got the calendar competition on it.
oh, good.
And next month we've arranged to put the car show in.
Okay.
We've sent a press release for the calendar competition, as I said before, to the Voice and Free Press again.
And then I've sent the press release about remembrance to
Yeah,
the Voice and Free Press, so hopefully this week.
well that was good, I think that hopefully they'll.
Well, let's hope they pick it up because
It's been going down well on Facebook,
Yeah.
but obviously you want to get it out there to the wider
You
community.
look at the Voice, and it's not a big publication, they seem to struggle to find items to put in.
So just thinking moving forward then, obviously we're probably going to do the press release about going out to villages etc. and also in town for
Yeah.
the chat to, that
the
situation.
Holbeach Parish Council Forum.
That's the one. So that can be our release that we probably do after full council.
Yeah.
But is there anything else that we think is going to be on the, because the thing is, obviously, whatever's on the agenda that grabs their attention, they will then ask about the following day. So is there anything we think about that they might ask?
I just think, to have a full set of events for this coming year.
Planned events to date.
Candidates.
A list of events.
Is there any, did you get any joy with the different events that was put forward for the Welcome Back Fund in relation to because I know I said about Flower Festival and things like that?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything more back at the moment,
Okay,
so I shall update when I hear something.
okay. Because I was going to say, with the time allowance on that, obviously it's
I
quite...
think it's going to be a bit tight, to be honest.
Okay,
Unless you could buy stuff for an event that is then scheduled in the future,
okay.
if you see what I mean.
We did talk about a garage sale, tabletop sale. didn't we, as
Yeah,
well, for
so-
February, was it?
We've got our key ones booked in, obviously the larger events. We've then got the Easter duck hunt thing for Easter, which actually ties in with the theme. And then we were looking at probably doing a yard sale beginning of summertime and then
Okay.
late summertime, I think. we'll have to schedule when we're thinking of doing them, because they were quite popular. People wanted more regular ones throughout the year, I think, so.
So the real next big thing will be the Easter.
The Easter one will be the next big
So
thing.
we'll put that in the Village Voice for March.
Mhm.
Because they always print them, don't they?
That's April.
April.
I've done a poster for it. You can try.
Oh, have you?
The March one's just gone off, isn't it?
It has, you're right. Okay, any other comments on press release?
The only thing I can think on press release is, have we come up with the judges for the photo competition so that we can release that to the press? So that they know it's not just us picking the photos, that we're going to have.
We did have some suggestions, didn't we?
We had some suggestions. I think,
It was the photographer from The Voice,
yeah.
it was Dave from Tesco,
And
and
Barbara,
Barbara.
Oh no, was it the new vicar?
I don't know whether she's going to be here on time, is she?
Yeah, she's going to be end of
Was she?
February. Because we're going to do entries in by end of
30th
June.
Yeah.
So then you'll start your judging. So we've got a long time till we're actually starting judging. We've obviously sent the press release, so if we could do one sort of next month or something like that for the photography competition and say, we received so many entries, blah, blah, blah. We've got sponsorship from all these businesses, make it sound positive. And then, you know, our judges are going to be X, Y, and Z.
Could we link it into the, you know, the Holbridge Awards winners
Mhm.
that happens end of last year, was it?
Yeah, the Hearts of Holbridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could we link it into some, if like somebody like Dave's not going to be available, could we link it into something like that?
Mhm. I think if we start contacting people and seeing if they would be willing to do it, and then we can come up with the three.
I quite like the idea of the new vicar because it'd be nice to get her
Yeah.
Mm.
settled in.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice welcome for her, wouldn't it?
I think that'd be nice.
Is she resident in the new vicarage?
No,
Or is Rosamund
no, Rosamund's
still there?
No, she's gone. I think.
Yeah, she's in.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Taking her chickens with her.
Yeah, so it should be end of February that the new vicar
Yeah,
comes.
that'd be nice. I think that would be a nice welcome.
Mhm.
Sorry, do we know when she's starting? Okay. Thanks, that's good. So, items for discussion and agenda items for the next meeting.
The only thing, generally just for discussion, I was thinking of is at a full council meeting, my thoughts were that I think we need to just be explaining a little bit more for each agenda item before we agree it. Because I feel like sometimes I can see the press looking around going, what's happening? And I think we just need to treat it a little bit more like we're presenting to the public.
I think
Rather than-
one of the
Yeah.
problems is if Stephen says, have you seen it, it's on the drive.
It's on the drive, yeah.
Well, we might have seen it, we might not have done,
Yeah.
hopefully we
Yeah.
have, but nobody else has.
We
Yeah.
had this
Yeah.
conversation
So,
a few
yes.
days ago, didn't we?
But I think what needs to happen is, you know, Stephen can read out the agenda item and we can discuss this at the agenda meeting as well with Stephen. But then if each chair could,
Put the meat on the bone, so to speak.
yeah, just, you know, I mean, you've done the report, that's fine. If it's a really simple one, then don't bother padding it out too much. But if it's one that's more, you think either the public or the press are going to be interested in, then I think it's just down to each individual chairman to
Okay.
kind of pad it out a little bit, which I think between us we've got most people. It's just open spaces,
Yes.
we haven't got them. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I keep forgetting that.
yes, you. So,
Yeah, just about saying that a little bit more and making it clear what's going on, because it is hard. This is what I said the other day. When people look at it and all you hear is, we've all seen the drive, everybody's seen the drive, and we vote.
I think
So
the thing is
people
we,
then see it and don't.
yeah,
No,
our meetings
it's
used to be too much the other way, and that it would just be loads of waffle. And then we've streamlined it, but then we just need to think, okay, we really need to be presenting to the public what we're actually doing. So a bit of an explanation.
It's just about giving the information and transparency, and this is what we're supposed to be about now. And if people don't know, they're not going to be interested in coming joining us if they don't know what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Any other agenda items other than we'll make an agenda nearer the time? Anything new? No?
I don't think so, thank you.
Right, so confirm the date and venue of the next committee meeting. So when is the March full council?
Full council is the 14th of March.
14th. So we want to meet 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, these Tuesdays, first Tuesday, coincide with Fosdyke. So it's a bit of a push.
Well, we can change to fit.
Wednesday the 2nd.
Yeah.
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 At 4:30 again?
On a Wednesday I can do 4:30, yeah.
Yeah.
Here.
That's a Tuesday. Did you say?
Wednesday the 2nd.
Wednesday
the
the
2nd of
2nd,
March.
sorry.
Morning, John. 4:30, Wednesday the 2nd. I can do this. It's not really late.
Thank you, meeting closed.